They quickly rushed back to camp as if nothing had happened. By the time they had reached the others, and after Wanyenyekevu had caught his breath, he told them what had happened to them. As they discussed it, Wanyenyekevu said, "By the way, can you install some distress button on this cloaking device? Some kind of alarm so we'll know when one of us is in trouble?" Elisha replied, "I thought about it, but I think it's possible." Looking around, he asked Joan, "I see a splendid meal, but where's the camp and the horses?" Pointing to two small poles that were standing in the lake, he said, "You said safe. The camp is underwater, and no heat signatures can be traced under there." Wanyenyekevu smiled. "That sounds like a safe place." Obe looked at Elisha. "You have a misconception about this heat signature. The trees in these parts are not thick enough. Although the water is a good idea, we may not be deep enough. However, it is a good idea. I will help you understand a lot of things I know as we travel together, but for now, you need to cover it with mud." Wanyenyekevu looked at Grace. "Will you do us the honor?" Obe looked on in amazement. "How? How is that possible?" they said. "We will tell you later." Everyone settled in the cube, ate, and went in for the night. Wanyenyekevu tells Grace, "I know you are tired, but I need you to run about 100 miles south and return, dusting off your tracks." Grace left, and Wanyenyekevu was about to speak when Grace returned in seconds. "Done." Wanyenyekevu shook his head. "It's been a long and a busy day, at that. We'll sleep in for a little longer and get plenty of rest. We've only have a half-day journey to Silver City." Obe waited until Wanyenyekevu was finished talking and asked, pointing at Grace, "You mean to tell me she ran 100 miles and back in a few seconds?" Wanyenyekevu said, "And dusted our footprints. Sabaoth is able. We shall talk later. For now, we are all tired and must get some rest." Wanyenyekevu walked into the camp, looking at the fish above him with his flashlight, saying to himself, "A glass bubble, this is just beautiful." Everyone was sound asleep, and Obe lay there confused as he asked himself, "I have been a slave all my life, killing for a people I hate. Killing my own. How am I supposed to live my life now? Who is that voice calling me a great warrior of Sabaoth?" Questions filled his head, and for the first time in his life, he felt a tear fall from his eye. Crying himself to sleep, he whispered, "Sabaoth, help me!" Not aware he had fallen asleep, Obe heard a loud explosion that awoke him, surrounded by carnage. Women cried for help as they reached out to him. Another explosion right in front of him where alien-looking creatures were trying to capture him. Another explosion and another. There was a cloud of smoke ahead of him. A man's figure walked towards him out of the cloud of smoke. The man smiled at him and handed him a book. He reached out for it. It was the same man who had given him the Torah long ago, but it was as it looked today, old and torn, saying, "Obe, a great warrior of Sabaoth. Like Joseph and Moses, you had to live amongst your captures to understand them. With great pain comes a glorious reward. Wanyenyekevu and the people you are with is where you belong. Sabaoth has long looked after you to bring you here. This is your family now, and this is your home." Obe woke up and started crying. Seeing everyone around him was still asleep, he whispered, "Thank you, Sabaoth." Obe thought about his jet ship waking up Wanyenyekevu. "I think it's wise to move on to your destination. I have to think, as if I was hunting, I would have searched and found out it was on autopilot and would have gone to its last location. It's around 2 a.m., you still have 5 to 6 hours of darkness, and we can move until it's light." Wanyenyekevu said, "I agree." Waking up everyone, Wanyenyekevu said, "It's been a change of plan, and Obe has made me aware that it's best to move on to our destination to Silver City. Let's use the cover of darkness to get as far as possible. So, let's pack up and get out of here as soon as possible." Quickly, everyone packed up everything and was outside. "I need a horse," said Obe. "Remember my jet ship is in Rio?" Jonathan said. "Here, use mine." And then he turned and asked Joy, "May I ride with you?" Smiling, she agreed, saying, "You're making this a habit." Jonathan smiled. "I know." Joan jokingly, May I? Who are you, my brother? And everyone started laughing. Jonathan embraced, kicked the horse, and started racing towards Silver City, followed by the rest.